In this video, I will present my final project with the title Language Function and Language Expression Used by Hotels Guest Service Agent. And we'll start from the chapter 1, which is about introduction. And in this chapter, we have several contents. The first content is about background of the study, and then the statement of the problems, purpose of the study, the significance of the study, and scope of the study. Okay, we continue to the next chapter, the chapter 2, which is about review of related literature, definition of language function. According to Richard M. Long, as stated in Geary in 2006, language function can be used by someone to express something based on the situation. There are some examples of language functions like greeting, offering help, asking for information, apologizing, agreeing, and disagreeing. Next, the definition of language expression. The language expression is language which used by a person to communicate with other persons or only to show what does he or she feel at the moment. And the next one is definition of front office. So when the guest first enter her hotel, guests will judge quality of the hotel from the how front office department serve them. And the front office can be divided into several sections, namely bellman, guest experience, front desk agent, butlers, and guest service agent. So what is guest service agent? Guest service agent or telephone operator is one of the front office department sessions that has responsibilities for handling incoming and outgoing calls from internal call or external call. And a telephone operator or guest service agent must be able to provide actual information to guests so that the main goal of hotel in achieving maximum revenue can be achieved properly. The next one is definition of external call. External call are calls that enter the hotel from outside parties such as individuals, guests outside the hotels, and then companies, and so on. So external calls are certainly incoming calls from outside the work environment with the aim of ordering a room by guests outside the hotel and then asking for information about the hotels or other services within the hotels. The next one is definition of internal call. Internal calls are calls that come from within the hotels. Usually this call is made by guests to the telephone operator with the aim of asking for help or ordering something. As we continue to the next chapter, which is about research method. The first one is research design. So the research design in this study was descriptive qualitative research, and for the subject of the study, the subject are 4 guest service agent staff who work 5 until 10 years as guest service agent staff at Sofitel Bandung Service Research. Number 3 is a research instrument. In the process of collecting the data, the questionnaire is one of the methods used by me to be able to identify the language function and language expression used by guest service agent when handling external and internal call at Sofitel Bandung Service Research. Number 4 is data collection procedures. So in collecting the data from the guest service agent staff, I gave the questionnaire to the 4 guest service agent in Sofitel Bandung Service Research during I have on-the-job trainings. And then number 5 is data analysis. So there are the steps in the analyzing the data. Number first is give the question sheet to guest service agent and ask them to fill the answers. And then number 2 is writing explanatory script from the guest service agent staff. How are the language function and language expression used in handling external and internal call at Sofitel Bandung Service Research? And then number 3 is put them in the tables. We move to the next chapter, which is about finding and discussion. And the first one is table 1, language function and language expression used by guest service agent when handling external call at Sofitel Bandung Service Research. As you can see in the table, the first one is about language function is before answering the telephone, you must be sitting in an upright position. So a telephone operator must sit in an upright position or relaxed position before answering the telephone. So just like someone sings, the result will be different if the singer sings in the stand-up position or on the sleeping position. So if a person is sleeping, the sound can be unclear, and then often without realizing it, as if the voice has been channeled properly. It turns out that there are obstacles because of the incorrect position. Language function number 2 is the telephone headset must be adjusted to fit your head correctly with the mouthpiece 2 until 3 centimeters away from your mouth, like this. The ideal distance between the lid and the headset is about 2 until 3 centimeters, and the distance between the mouth and the telephone that is too close will make the voice is less clear, and the sound of breath will heard by guests like that. And then the language function number 3 is all phones are to be answered within 3 rings. So this means at busy times we have answer all calls, asking them to hold and then returning to them in other. In addition to disturbing the work atmosphere, the telephone that rings more than 3 times will make guests wait too long for our services, and this is of course refers to assessment of hotel with less active and bad staff of telephone operators. And after picking the phones that ring no more than 3 times, telephone operators at the Sofitel Service Resort must greeting guests by French greeting. For the uh, for the morning and afternoon, using the greeting bonjour, bonjour, selamat pagi or selamat siang. And then while greeting colors in the late afternoon until night, the greeting used is bonjour, bonjour selamat sore, bonjour selamat malam. And when receiving an external call at Sofitel Service Resort, the guest service agent must mention the name of our hotels and offer assistance. As you can see in the tables, some respondents at Sofitel Service Resort use the language expression by saying, bonjour, selamat pagi, welcome to Sofitel Service Resort, how may I help you? And then the last one is bonjour, selamat pagi, welcome to Sofitel Service Resort, I'm speaking, how may I help you? So by mentioning our name, it is very acceptable because it will make it easier for guests to remember the staff who will serve them. The language function number 4 is ensure your tone is polite and courteous with a smile in your voice. So talking over the phone must be polite and avoid the use of harsh words because can be certainly often the feelings of the guest as the person we are talking to. So as a guest service agent or telephone operator, avoid social language as much as possible, like bro, sis, and etc. And also avoid mumbling, like saying like that, because mumbling suggests we are not professional. So, and then don't forget to smiling when talking on the phone is also an ethic that must be applied by guest service agent as a Sofitel Service Resort. It reflects the quality of sound we convey to the guests. And guests, on the other hand, will be able to hear our smiles and believe that. Number 5 is ensure you speak clearly in case that is understandable to the receivers. When a telephone operator is on the phone, so make your point clearly. Use sentences that are easy to understand for anyone, and then also pay attention to our tone speech. Don't too fast and don't too slow. Don't too fast so that is make it difficult for anyone to catch our point and on the telephone, and avoid high notes or shooting because guests will think we are angry with them, and then but also don't be slow, that is hard to hear, and try to talk as naturally as possible but still enthusiastic about what is conveyed by the guest. Number 6 is repeat if needed. In receiving calls, sometimes the voice of the caller is not clear, and to respond these problems, so we ask to repeat the speech and provide reason why the voice is not clear, so that it remains polite. And likewise, when we provide information to the guest, sometimes our voice is not clear, and guests asked to repeat it. Re-explain what information we explained earlier and easier to understand for the guests. And as you can see in the table, uh, all respondents at Sofitel Band Service Research has implemented this language function. Language function number 7 is thank the guest for calling and then end the call. Before hanging up the phones, make sure the caller understands the solution of problem solving that we convey to them. And then if we feel customer needs a follow-up, provide clarity on the time when we should be contacting them. When all information has been conveyed to the guest, give a good closing greeting according to work procedure at the hotels, as in at action at the table above. Yeah, language expression used by two staff at the Sofitel Bernstein Web Beach Resort to thanks the guest for calling by saying thank you for calling Sofitel, have a good day or have a pleasant evening. And then the others is by saying thank you for contacting us, have a nice day. Let me move to the next table, which is about language function and language expression used by guest service agent when handling internal call at Sofitel Band Service Research. So as you can see at the table, the language function is still the same. There are 8 language function and then a different language expression when handling internal and external call. As you can see in the table number 3, when we answer the phones within 3 rings, the language expression usually used by guest service agent at Sofitel Band Service Research are by saying Bonjour, selamat pagi, Ani speaking, how may I help you, Mr. Ryan? No need to mention our hotel's name again, but don't forget to mention the name of the caller and the name of the staff. And as you can see at the table number 7, there are language expression that usually used by guest service agent when handling internal calls. So by saying thank you for calling, have a nice day with us, Mr. Ryan, like that. So this lets the customer know that you are happy to help them and are willing to be contacted again in the future. Okay, now let's continue to the next chapter, which is about conclusion and suggestions. So the language function and language expression cannot stay alone. They need to support each other when doing conversations. So there are 8 language functions that are the same when handling external call and internal calls. And I can conclude there are different language expressions used when handling external and internal calls. So for the external calls, the all phones are to be answered within 3 rings. The language expression usually used by guest service agent at Sofitel Band Service Research are Bonjour, selamat pagi, welcome to Sofitel Band Service Research, how may I help you? Or Bonjour, selamat pagi, welcome to the Sofitel Band Service Research, Ani speaking, how may I assist you? And then for the thanks the guest for calling and then we can use the language expression by saying thank you for calling Sofitel, have a good day or have a pleasant evening. And then the second one is thank you for contacting us, have a nice day, like that. And for the internal calls, while all phones are to be answered within 3 rings, so the language expression used are Bonjour, selamat pagi, Ani speaking, how may I help you, Mr. Ryan? And the first, thanks the guest for calling and then end the call. We can use the language expression by saying thank you for calling, have a nice day with us, Mr. Ryan. Next one is about suggestions. So I hope that the further researchers who want to raise the same topic about language function and language expression used by guest service agent when handling external and internal calls can take the data from 5-star hotels and then can compare the differences of language expression and language function with these researches. And the research also hopes that the further researchers use more instruments to take the data from the subject to make it more accurate. Well, that's all my materials, the title language function and language expression used by hotel guest service agents. So thanks for watching this video and see you.